Shemai, and welcome to my first video of two on the impact of the European Union on lawmaking. This information is correct to the best of my knowledge in April 2020. The information is relevant for the 2017 Law A-Level specification, where you have to study the impact of European Union laws on the laws of England and Wales. Whilst we're in the transition period of the Brexit withdrawal agreement, the UK is still affected by EU law, and the previous effects of EU law are still present in many aspects of our lives as UK citizens. To commence this video, I would like to look at the origins and growth of the European Union, and also the current form of the Union. The body that has grown into the European Union was established after World War II. Due to the terrible consequences of the war on European countries, there was a move to assist with a physical and fiscal reshaping. People who had made a significant contribution to building this community included Joseph Beck, Winston Churchill, Nicole Fontaine, and Robert Schuman. The main aims of the first discussions were to promote the economic development of members and improve the living standards of its citizens. Since the inclusion of environmental and social policies, there were also discussions on the creation of a fiscal, monetary and political union, with the potential of the group of countries, what we call a supernation, establishing its own laws. The European Coal and Steel Community started in 1951 with 6 members, a group called Benelux, that is Belgium, the Netherlands and Luxembourg, as well as Germany, France and Italy. The purpose of the community was to collect the coal and steel resources of the nations for sharing in a fair way. The community was merged with the European Economic Community and the European Atomic Energy Community, that is Euratom, before transitioning to the European Community as a whole. The European Union, or the EU, was formed in 1993, mixing the 3 communities with a common foreign policy and cooperation into criminal matters. As you can see, the United Kingdom joined in 1973, but in the picture the country is red. With the exception of anyone who has lived as a hermit in the past couple of years, the United Kingdom has triggered Article 50 and is in the process of parting from the European Union. This position has led to a series of other portmanteaux, such as Frexit, the possibility of France leaving, and Italy, the idea of Italy leaving the European Union. As a result, this is a relatively unstable period for the European Union. Now, we've looked at the origins of the European Union. Now it's important to look at the European Union institutions. The 4 main institutions we want to look at are the Commission, the Council, the European Union, and the Court of Justice of the European Union. The lead executive body is the Commission, which is led by 27 commissioners who have been appointed for a 5-year period. As the Commission is to represent the interests of the EU, it is important that the commissioners are independent. The Commission suggests and drafts EU legislation, as well as discussing annual funding and negotiating trade agreements. As I've raised in the Constitutional Principles video, it is important that the executive enforces the law. Therefore, it is also important that the Commission ensures that all EU member states abide by EU law. To give an example of this, in the case of re-tachographs, EC Commission and UK 1979, the United Kingdom failed to comply with European Union law on companies using weighing machines on HGV vehicles, those known as tachographs. So there was a monetary penalty against the United Kingdom. This is an example of the Commission's power as to why it's important for member states to follow European Union law. We usually call the Council of the European Union simply the Council. The Council is the main decision-making and legislative body representing the interests of the individual member countries. Because of its important role, It is seen as the most powerful organisation. The Council adopts EU legislation based on suggestions from the Commission and after advising Parliament. However, be careful when researching the Council on the web. There's also an organisation called the Council of Europe, and this is a different organisation that has created the European Convention on Human Rights, so it's best to be careful. The third body is the European Parliament, which exercises an advisory role for the Commission. All members of Parliament are elected every 5 years in elections across Europe. As the Parliament, it has the power to veto any appointments made by the Commission or to get rid of the whole Commission. In order to track parliamentary decisions, the European Parliament provides the Council with a report 3 times a year. The Court of Justice of the European Union is based in Luxembourg, and its main job is to oversee the application of EU law. The institution is a constitutional court providing official interpretations of European law. Now, there are 2 courts, the Court of Justice and the General Court. In the Court of Justice, there are 27 judges who are assisted by 11 advocates general. The Court of Justice focuses on major cases and the main treaties. In the General Court, there are 54 judges who focus on the Union's contractual liability. By the way, in documents written before 2009, you will find the term ECJ or European Court of Justice. This term has been wrong since 2009, so it's important that you use the term Court of Justice of the European Union. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope to upload the video on European legislation soon. Diolch yn fawr.